Did Gary Bettman make the Vegas Golden Knights a contender through the 2017 NHL expansion draft? No, he didn't. The other GMs at the time that had no clue what they were doing did. Now, yes, the expansion draft rules for Vegas were more generous than the ones in the year 2000 when Columbus and Minnesota came into the league. But Seattle had the same expansion draft rules as Vegas, and they've missed the playoffs 3 out of 4 seasons. Well, what the Golden Knights did was they made a bunch of side deals, and they made so many teams look like fools through these deals that no team made any side deals with Seattle. Let's take a look at some of these side deals. At the time, Florida GM Dale Talon agreed to trade Riley Smith to the Golden Knights for a 4th-round pick if they took Jonathan Marchessault instead of Alex Petrovic or Mark Pysyk. If you don't know who Petrovic or Pysyk are, I don't blame you. Marchessault and Smith made up 2/3 of the Golden Knights' top line through their first few seasons, along with William Karlsson. And then Columbus Blue Jackets GM at the time, Jarmo Kekalainen, told the Golden Knights that he would trade them a 1st-round pick, a 2nd-round pick, and David Clarkson's contract if they take William Karlsson instead of Josh Anderson or Jonas Korpisalo. Karlsson went on to score 43 goals in Vegas' first season, a single-season mark that hasn't been beaten yet to this day. Now, this next one is the wildest one of them all to me, because we all knew going into the expansion draft that Marc-Andre Fleury was going to be a Golden Knight. Well, GM Jim Rutherford gave the Vegas Golden Knights a 2nd-round pick to take Fleury. Like, I just imagine George McPhee being offered this deal and having to mute his phone because he was laughing so hard before he accepted the deal. Anaheim Ducks GM Bob Murray agreed to trade Shea Theodore to the Golden Knights if they selected Clayton Stoner instead of Sami Vatanen or Josh Manson. Shea Theodore's been the Golden Knights' best defenseman in their short history so far, and it didn't take very long before he was better than all 5 defensemen that Anaheim kept instead of him. Minnesota Wild GM at the time, Chuck Fletcher, agreed to trade Alex Tuch and a 3rd-round pick to Vegas if they selected Erik Haula instead of Matt Dumba. Matt Dumba was a good defenseman for the Wild, but the Golden Knights clearly won this deal, getting 2 guys that end up being key parts of the team in their first year. In fact, Erik Haula finished 2nd on the team in goals that year, only behind William Karlsson. Here's the funniest part of it all. That deal could have been 10 times worse for the Minnesota Wild. Michael Russo wrote an article that said that the Golden Knights agreed to take Erik Haula as long as the Wild gave them a prospect. The 3 prospects that were talked about were Alex Tuch, Jordan Greenway, and Kirill Kaprizov. Now, we'll never know if Kaprizov was going to be a superstar with the Golden Knights, but he's currently the face of the Minnesota Wild. This deal could have been catastrophic for Minnesota. So if you want to blame someone for the Golden Knights' success, blame the other 30 GMs at the time instead of Gary Bettman. But as always, leave a like, drop a follow on the Armchair Athletes, and let me know in the comments which of those side deals you think was the most lopsided.